In 2018, Rosie Green's world came crashing down when her husband ended their 26-year relationship, leaving her devastated and heartbroken.
Well, Rosie didn't think she'd ever get over it, but she did, and she now uses her experience to help others overcome the pain of heartbreak. And she joins us now to share her story. Thank you, Rosie, for being here this morning. Good morning to you. So,
Good morning.
The book was written off the back of your own heartbreak, and as we said there in the introduction, from the outside, it seemed like the perfect relationship. When did you notice the sort of cracks start to appear?
Well, I mean, as I say, we've been together for so long, and we were like the couple, most solid couple there was, I think. So it wasn't until a couple of years ago. So, the kids were quite grown up, and we'd had this lovely, stable marriage, yeah, for a couple of years ago.
And so did his demeanour change? I mean, you've been there together since you were 18, as you say, the perfect marriage. At what point did you think there's something wrong here?
Well, yes, absolutely. His demeanour did start to change. He was staying out more. He was going to the gym more. He was, he was just colder. I think I write in the book about how, he always looked at me in the same way Harry looked at Meghan. And suddenly he didn't look at me in that way. In Elvis's words, he'd lost that loving feeling.
Do you think there was someone else?
Well, yeah, I mean, I found some messages on his phone, and that was just like the most, everything kind of came crashing down from that point.
Well, what's interesting is people react in different ways. Some people sort of slam the door and say, get out and take your stuff, I never want to see you again. But you tried to save the marriage almost by creating this perfect life that he couldn't possibly leave.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of, I'd gone from being this really feisty, independent woman to just massively trying to hold on to everything. I felt like I was sort of a car skidding on ice, just trying to keep everything together. So, for the first time, I'd, make sure the house was perfectly tidy. I'd make sure my hair was done. I'd kind of cook a lovely meal. I, tried to iron his shirts. I did everything that I could to sort of keep it together.
And so you describe yourself as the definition of desperation, which is, you're a journalist for Vogue, for Elle, for Red, a very successful businesswoman. So, with all of that, would you have imagined that you would have written the fact that you were despairing, you were acting out of desperation?
Not at all, and I really shocked myself. And actually, in the book, I said to a friend of mine, I feel like he's been body snatched, and she said, well, I feel like you've been body snatched. I wanted to be like the Penelope Cruz character in Vicky Cristina Barcelona. I wanted to be kind of fiery and resolute, and to throw all his clothes out on the lawn. But actually, I was just desperate. I was kind of begging him.
Just explain sort of physically what happened to you, because there's a lot of pain here, and in the book you talk an awful lot about the fact that we need to recognise heartbreak as a physical pain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that period of time when I was sort of trying to keep the marriage together, I think I lost 2 stone in as many months. I couldn't even get into the bath because my, the bones on my back were so protruding. And, I think heartbreak's invisible, but actually the physical symptoms of it, I was shaking, I was kind of anxious, I was not eating properly, my hair was falling out. There were so many things that I remember going to do the school run, and my kind of running leggings were sort of flapping around my, my thighs.
And so, for you there, you were looking to the future, you saw yourself as bankrupt and alone and lonely and all of those things, which is not what you expected to be, or even that you were thinking about, because obviously that is not the case, but you were thinking that at the time.
Yeah, I was. I think my biggest fear was that I was unlovable, and that I would never love again, and no one would ever love me. But also, I think the big thing in a relationship when it goes is all those certainties. So, I thought I had a future all mapped out, and we were so lucky. We had the kids, we had the house, we had so much, and I just suddenly that was like a big abyss.
Interestingly, you had your writing, and that was kind of the biggest escape for you. You decided that you were going to write about this in your column, and you had such a reaction to it. I think so many people sort of recognised themselves in your writing, and then obviously off the back of that, you've written the book, and that helped you as well as lots of other people.
Yeah, I mean, I've always worked for Red Magazine for a long time, and I wrote a column for 10 years about how, this perfectly perfect family life, your car being held together with the raisins and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people really identify with that. So when this happened, my editor said to me, do you want to write about it? And I thought, actually, I do, and it served a kind of triple purpose in that by writing about it, I felt a bit like I'd been gaslighted. So I've been told all these things that I was really bad at doing, that it was my fault, that various, all these things. So actually, by writing it, I kind of claimed the narrative, but I also realized I helped a lot of people who are in a similar situation and people who weren't as lucky as me. They didn't have access to therapists and psychologists. And, I just felt like I really wanted to help them navigate this journey, because there's the emotional fallout, but then there's also things like, do you go to a mediator, do you go to a lawyer, if you're getting no money from your partner, where do you go to get emergency funds to see you through? So I wanted to bring my experience to kind of help people as well.
Well, the book is How to Heal a Broken Heart, from rock bottom to reinvention. This is what it looks like, and you're going to stay with us for the phone in. We can discuss some of the things that are in here: recognizing heartbreak as physical pain, overcoming rejection. It's not your fault. Find solace in speaking to others. You've found love again, so there is always that hope. So we can discuss all of that in a bit. Thank you for the moment, Rosie.
Thank you.